Nazda system was developed to protect us. It was to be the ultimate nuclear deterrent. As it turned out, it was our executioner. Reports said that Nazda developed a fault during a routine systems check. Don't believe it. Someone wanted it to take us out. Those nukes were targeted on every major city around the world. Nazda was programmed to start the collapse. When the counter-strikes launched, its laser defenses and anti-missile ground sites failed. The world as we knew it ended. The nuclear winter hit hard. Disease and famine claimed most of us who had survived the nuclear strikes. Wars over cans of dog food took even more. We'd fled Seattle early in '86. We'd heard that the Rocky Mountains were relatively rad-free. After fighting off bands of marauders, we came across the base. Its personnel were dead, killed by any one of a number of virulent diseases. We cracked the doors and cleared out the bodies inside. We knew that things would never be the same again. But we were determined to build a new world out of the ruins. We rebuilt the landing pads and brought the old systems back online. We were finally ready to begin the project.
Alright, welcome everyone to this playthrough of Warzone 2100. I am your host Kazan7000, also known as Jacob. As you saw from the intro, Warzone 2100 is set in an apocalyptic Earth that was more or less nuked into oblivion. This is an RTS where we are going to be more or less looking for old world technology and trying to shove the world back together. We are members of the project, which their whole goal is to rebuild the Earth. So we will get into that in a second. Now, you may be thinking this is a normal RTS like Age of Empires or something like that. It's really not. It has some really interesting features, and this is actually a game I found when I was a kid. I had a demo disc with it on it. And I played the ever-loving crap out of the demo, which is the fast play tutorial, which we will be going through today. We're not going through the normal tutorial because I cannot stomach that right now. I'd rather actually play the game rather than go through a tutorial that tells me how to play the game. I know how to play the game. By the way, I played the ever-loving crap out of this as a kid, and I lost the demo disc, and I forgot this thing's name, but I rediscovered it roughly in October or November last year, so 2014. And I played a little bit of it then, but I feel like playing through the entire game now. I have not beaten the game yet. I've only gotten maybe about 3 hours in. But this will be my second attempt recording the game, because I've already gone through 3 hours and recorded that, but there was an audio issue which should more or less be fixed now. You can actually hear me, and it should be great. I will be going over all the unique features and stuff in this game as we go through it, and I'll be explaining factions and yada yada yada. It'll be great. Don't worry about it.
Briefing commences. Scavenger raiders are approaching our base. Defend the base, then destroy the scavenger camps.
Alright, so we already have a small base pre-established for us. Let me get my groupings together.
Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 0 reporting.
So to start off with, I think we have everything we're going to need here. Yeah, we do. So let's go ahead and start manufacturing some machine gun tanks. Now, as you can see, it has a really weird name, Machine Gun Viper Wheels. And you might be like, that's a stupid name for a unit. Well, let me show you why it's named that. A really interesting feature of this game is that you don't have preset units. You build your units based on what parts you have, which we do through the... Oh, my guys are fighting up there. Let me actually get two over there. Which you actually do through the build menu. Now, as you can see, we have two presets here, but normally you only start out with the truck and then you build whatever. So to build a unit, you click New Design. You choose a chassis type. In this case, all we have is one. It's called the Viper. You choose the motive type, which in this case, again, we only have one. It's the wheels. And then we choose a weapon or utility. So we have weapons and utilities here. We have a truck, which is our building unit, and we have a machine gun, which is the most basic you can get of weapons. Based on the parts that you grab, it determines the default name of the vehicle. You can make it whatever you want, but it's weapon, chassis type, and then motive type. And you can name it, I don't know, awesome new vehicle. So there, and you can save it, you can delete it, it's cool. Now, the weapon type, of course, determines how far it can shoot, how much damage it does, rate of fire, and how much it weighs. It does make a difference, believe it or not. It also determines partially your cost and your health. Everything really determines that. Motive type determines how fast you move, how quick it can get up a hill, weight, of course. I don't know if that's weight supported or not. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's weight supported. And then, I don't know what this is. But motive type also determines how weak you are to the various types of damage. There are quite a few weapons in this game, and they're all categorized into different weapon types. The weapon types being all-rounder, which are things like tank cannons. Anti-personnel, which is of course like my machine gun. Anti-tank, which is certain rockets and missiles and stuff like that. You have artillery, which is howitzers and mortars mainly. Bunker busters, which, you know, is self-descriptive. And flame weaponry. Now, I'll go over that a little bit more later when we're actually using that type of thing. Mainly in the campaign, not so much now. This is fairly low tech for this tutorial. And of course, the motive type also determines the cost as well. I believe, I didn't write it down, I printed out a cheat sheet, I really should add this, but I think motive type also determines how much. Yeah, it does. It determines the percentage it multiplies by the total cost of the rest of it. So, for example, I think wheel stuff is like only costs 50 or 75% of what of what's normal, and track gets it to like 125 or something like that. Regardless, that's not a big deal at all. You're gonna notice a small cut there. Please excuse that. What really matters instead of the cost is how much damage you take for each of these compared to the weapons. That's all that really matters. If you want to make cheap units, though, you usually go with wheels. If you want to make more expensive units, you go with things like hover or VTOL or tracked. Now, the base chassis, I believe, is one of the primary things that determine hit points and cost, but do not quote me on that. I am also unsure what some of these symbols are. I think this determines how much can be supported on it, but don't quote me on that. By the way, this is how you build your vehicles. It's very, very simple. We also have some intel here we'll be going over later.
Production completed.
We'll just be waiting for units right now. There's not much else we can do. Actually, there is. Let's go ahead and take Group 1, and we will be searching for new technology. Now then, as you can see here, there's an oil derrick. Your resources are also down here. Your resources are in power. The way you get power is by finding oil drums, or mining oil, and with that oil, using a power generator facility, you combine the two and you get more power. Wham bam, holy crap, that guy actually got through my defenses. That's interesting. But each generator can support up to 4 unupgraded. I think you get some more with it upgraded, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Now then, with these guys over here, let's go ahead and build that up and keep our forces moving. Hey you guys. Alright. You can't, this is kind of a little time thing. You cannot build an oil derrick if it is on fire. Fun fact.
Artifact detected.
Let's go ahead and grab that artifact. Now, since I have played through this map so many times, there's not really anything new. Now then, as you can see, we have a new flashy thing for research.
Production
When we
completed.
find old world tech, or pre-collapse tech I think as the game calls it, we research it through here using any number of research facilities we have. You can only assign it to one at a time, but then it has a timer. Once it's done, we can actually build a design with it and manufacture it. That's more or less how the game works. Let's get group 3 going. We have plenty of power. And we'll hold off for now.
Group 2 reporting.
Let's push group 2 up, followed by group 3.
Group 1 reporting.
Let's get our oil derrick up, and group 1 is fine.
Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting.
Construction complete.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game once you get used to it. The tech tree is
Major
massive,
research completed.
and I don't even know all of it. I haven't even printed it out or anything, but then again, you really don't need to. Alright, so now we're making a decent little bit of power, a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and make some more of these also. We finished our flamer design, so let's go ahead and make a new vehicle using the flamer. I'm not a big fan of flame weaponry. It's useful occasionally, but not most of the time.
Group 2 reporting.
Get our groups moving out.
Group 1 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting.
Okay, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 1 can push up a little bit more.
Production completed.
Actually, group 1, get over there.
Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Nothing over there. That's a shame.
Scavenger base
This is a
detected.
game that pays for exploration. You'll probably find things like oil drums or even old world tech. How's our manufacturing going? Pretty good.
Group 0
Let's
reporting.
bring group 0. Bring them. Actually, we'll leave them there for now.
Group 1 reporting. Group 3
Let's,
Production
instead of
completed.
getting shot here, let's go ahead and push on their base.
Group 3 reporting.
Over.
Group 2 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Actually, keep group 1 back.
Artifact recovered. Scavenger base eradicated.
New artifact. So let's go ahead and build the machine gun tower.
Group 2
This
reporting.
is a very useful early game defense that I will be using a lot. In the meantime, what I like to do on this map, or when I used to play this,
Group 0 reporting.
let's go ahead and go to group 0. We're going to take one of these guys and move him.
Group 0 reporting.
We're going to take one of these guys, move him over here, and build our own base. Just a simple manufacturing center.
Production completed.
The other portion of group 0 is going to come down here and build us some defenses.
Major research completed.
Alright, so we're going to want one there, there, and an emergency one there, and one over there. Alright, you guys are group 4, go ahead and join the front line. Go ahead and build up our next manufacturing center.
Group 2 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Start moving our forces up.
Reporting. Group 3. Group 4 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Oh, we got a little structure here. And I might as well mention this now, even though if you were pay attention to the briefing, you'll understand.
Artifact detected.
All these yellow guys here,
Artifact.
these infantry and these old cars, these are all just scavengers. Scavengers are more of a nuisance than an actual threat, except in large numbers.
Power resource.
Hey, new
Construction
power.
completed.
So we got a new piece of technology. It is an upgrade to our engineering.
Structure under attack.
And this is why I was building machine gun towers earlier, because they like to come up from right here
Construction completed.
and just shoot at us. It's really annoying. Let's go ahead and pump out a few flamers, and I'll show y'all what they do. And in the meantime, we have a little bit of power left over, so we will build a defensive structure there.
Group 1 reporting. Group 2
Group
reporting.
2 is pretty much out of action, so they're now Group 2.
Construction completed.
Cool.
Group 3 reporting.
Get Group 3 up here.
Group 1 reporting.
Group 1, you're fine.
Group 2 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting.
I'll have Group 1 do the scouting down here, actually. See if we can't find anything.
Artifact detected. Production completed. Construction completed.
Alright, and we found a new artifact. Artifacts are always these little boxes with the green pulsing
Group
thing
3
on it.
reporting.
This one in particular, if you were paying attention, is going to be a sensor tower. If they want to grab it, there we go. The sensor
Construction
tower,
completed.
once this is done, or I'm sorry, sensor turret, then the sensor tower.
Major research completed.
And we also have a few more technologies that were unlocked. So we'll start off with the, actually we'll start off with the repair turret, that's really useful. And we can actually look at some information down here. When you unlock technology and actually research it, you'll get a little, I'll just
Weapon
show you.
research completed.
You get a little thing that tells you what it does. So Flamer, of course, does this. It's best against bunkers, wheeled vehicles, and hover vehicles, and it doesn't have much HP.
Structure research completed.
Minimalistic defense for a base,
Systems research completed.
and this particular upgrade increases construction speed. Everything's automatically upgraded, which is cool. What is this? Commanders, F6. Oh, right, the commanders. Okay,
Production
we'll get into that in the
completed.
base game, or in the campaign. That doesn't apply to this mission, I don't believe. So let's go ahead and bring Group 0 out to here, because there's some stuff I want to build in a little bit. Actually, I can do
Group
it now.
0 reporting.
Major research completed.
Alright, so let's start research on the sensor turret and look into what this repair turret
Systems
does.
research completed.
Surprise, surprise, it's just a turret you can attach to your vehicles that repairs other vehicles. A tower will be eventually unlocked, but although I don't remember if it's done so in
Production
fast play, I
completed.
don't think it is. Fast play is just an extension to the tutorial. It's more or less applying what you know.
Construction completed.
Group 2 reporting. Group 3
Okay.
reporting.
And I want... how much longer? Oh, we're out of power. That is a travesty. So we're pretty much just gonna have to wait until we can build other stuff. In the meantime, we'll get our flamers up here. I'll show you what they do.
Group 1 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group
Alright.
2 reporting. Group 1 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Actually, a sensor turret would be very useful right now. Oh hey, last one. Go ahead and get up here and join your crew. Now, the sensor turret, pretty much that reveals a large area in the fog of war. The turret does less than the tower, but it's still very
Major
useful for
research
coordinating
completed.
things like artillery, which we're not going to be able to have in this tutorial. Oh yeah, we do get the tower, that's cool. So let's go ahead and just take our forces out. Flamers, as you can see, their model changed to reflect their turret. Flamers are best against buildings and all that jazz. I don't really like them. Not enough oomph for what you pay for them, in my opinion. It's not to say they're without their uses, but I'd rather use other things. As you can see, they have a very long reload time.
Artifact detected. Power resource.
Group 1 reporting. Group 3 reporting. Group 2 reporting. Group 1 reporting.
Artifact recovered.
Group 2 reporting.
Alright,
Scavenger
and that was that.
eradicated.
Group 4 reporting. Group 3 reporting.
Let's get Group 0 over here. Didn't mean to actually click on it, I just wanted to click near it. And we can actually probably finish this up without researching everything. So we're gonna do that. You'll see all this technology in the campaign anyways. Trust me.
Major research completed.
All these basics I will be using in the first few missions, and then we'll eventually get upgrades.
Scavenger base detected.
Up, and they have a flamer tower. Oh no. Push into here. As you can see, not that hard. It's just applying what you learn in your tutorial mission.
Scavenger base eradicated.
Hey, half track.
Objective accomplished. Objective
Well, I just
accomplished.
skipped that. It's nothing important though. We're not in the campaign yet. That was my bad. Either way, that's more or less how the game goes. You find old world technology, you apply it to your forces, and you keep going. Now, unlike in this, in campaign, whatever you find and stuff transfers to the next mission. For a while anyways. So, it's in your best interest to build up research as much as you can, and just keep pumping out forces, and ideally, have more and more trained units, because trained units do better. Trained unit, how you get trained is more or less you just kill things. The longer they live, the more experience they get. It's pretty simple. So that only took 12 minutes, my rambling aside. So in the next episode, if you would still like to join me for it, we will be going into the campaign and getting back up to the point where I left off before I realized I had audio issues. So once we get to that point, everything will be brand new to me, which is going to be great. So expect about 2.5, 3 hours of me knowing what I'm doing and then nothing. So I will see you all then.